All right, guys, so we are back. They have been cleaned off. I've been letting them soak in the peroxide to kind of kill anything that might be in there. I haven't seen anything in any of the phals that I've bought, but just as a precaution, you don't want to bring anything into your collection. So this one is our Sunshine. And as you can see, after I clean the roots, she's got a decent root system going. She is starting to lose these two bottom leaves here. Normally I would go ahead and take them off. I'm gonna let them go ahead and let her absorb those. And I do see, I don't know if you guys can see it in there or not, but there is a new leaf getting ready to grow. So we are repotting her at the right time. And I am gonna go ahead and leave this partial spike on here. Obviously I will keep an eye out for if this node or node down here tries to branch, I will obviously cut that off. So let's move Miss Morgan out of the way first so we can look and see what we've got here. Let's look at our pots here. I've got several different pot sizes that we will venture into. So this one here is a Repot Me. I bought all of these off of Amazon except for this one. This is a recycled from an orchid purchase that I have cleaned and sanitized. And let's see. So she'll sit in there nice, plenty of room for growth. And it's nice and wide as well. So let's see what this one will do. I think this one actually, you know what, I might use this one because it is a little bit taller and the air pockets are a little smaller, and since she is used to being in one like this that doesn't have the extra aeration, and I want to keep more humidity to encourage more root growth for her because she doesn't quite have the root system, we may just go ahead and go with this. So let's do that. All right. So I thought at first I was going to possibly also need some sphagnum moss because I wasn't sure what these were going to look like, but I think she'll be all right. Let me move that. I'll just pull my bark up here. So what we are mixing her in is small fir bark, and I thought I had more than I did and I didn't. So I have mixed in some of my larger fir bark as well. It has perlite and a little bit of charcoal as well. So just the usual potting mix here. And again, I'm going to start low and then I will fast forward through this part because you've all seen me do this before. Now, if you want to see the actual, you know, putting the media in and all that, let me know and I won't fast forward in the future. But for today, we'll go ahead and get that fast forwarded for you guys. All right, so there she is. I will obviously give this one a good soak just because this media is dry. And of course, I'm not going to do it today. I did water her earlier today, so these roots are nice and wet already. It'll be a couple of days, and for the first few times that I water her, I will probably soak her just so that the bark can absorb the moisture and it stays wet a little bit longer. And I did go ahead and stake her just to make sure that she is nice and secure in that pot and not moving around too much when new root growth starts. And I know it looks a little low right now because of where these two leaves are, but like I said, they are getting absorbed by the mama plant, so these will be coming off soon. So then she'll sit up here. I'll just have to be extra careful when I'm watering, especially if I'm watering from the top, to make sure not to get any water inside these leaves. But for the next few waterings, probably for the next month, all of her waterings will be in a plastic pot, and I usually just let the water get to about right here and I let it soak for about 10-15 minutes, drain it really well and put it back in its decorative pot. So that is our Sunshine. I have the tag over there. We'll put that in a little bit. All right, so now let's go to our Morgan. And just like I thought, as soon as I ran it under the water, look at this, guys. Look at these roots. Like, is that not a beautiful, beautiful root system? Oh my goodness gracious. Just gorgeous. And earlier, if you saw me using the bamboo skewer to move the media around, I find that because this is a lot smaller than my finger, I do less damage and possibly breaking the roots. So what I do is with the media, I just take the bamboo skewer and I just kind of wiggle in between. And I find that actually has worked really well. Just one more good use for the bamboo skewer for the orchid hobby. All right, so here we go. So obviously she's not going to fit in either one of these two pots just because of this extensive root system. Hopefully this one is big enough, but I do like my aeration holes. I'm not going to stop and make any in there. If I feel like I need to do it, I'll do it later. But first, let's just even see if she fits in this. And again, when you have an orchid like this, if you kind of twist the pot as you're putting her in, the roots will kind of find their way. And then you just kind of have to gently, some of them, you know, kind of help push them down, but the bulk of them will go in. And I think she will do rather well in here. I think this is going to be the one we're going to pick for her. It's nice and big. And let's see. Yep, and by the time I pot her and bring her up, she'll be fine. All right. So same routine. Just put some at the bottom and then just keep going around. And again, we'll fast forward through this one. And like I said, if in the future you want to watch that part, that's fine. Let me know. I'll not fast forward through them anymore. But I know not everybody finds this part of the repotting interesting. And so I will fast forward it for now, unless you guys tell me otherwise. All right, so there she is there. Oh, it looks like there's a rock. I had a rock in there. Okay, not gonna harm anything. But as you can see, we don't have big air pockets and big air gaps in there. I did leave some of the roots out so I can kind of keep an eye on it. And there she goes. I did spike her as well. So, and she does not have any new growth as far as a leaf or anything on her. So she does have a couple of roots right here. I don't know if you can kind of see that there and on that side that are trying to grow. So now is a good time for that. So that is our Morgan. And then earlier I was talking about if you lose the bottom leaves down here, like our Sunshine is going to do because Mom is absorbing her leaves. So eventually these will get yellow and dry off and just naturally fall off. And that you can lose 2, maybe 3 every year, every couple of years, just depending on how your orchid grows. But if you are starting to lose yellow leaves in the middle, we have a problem. And I did tell you guys we were going to talk about that problem. So let me just show you my Sarai. So if you were to just look at the blooms of this orchid, the blooms still look beautiful. A lot of people assume that if the orchid is blooming, it's healthy. No, this is its defense mechanism to procreate. So a couple of days ago, I lost a bottom leaf, no big deal. Lost another bottom leaf, no big deal. Just lost another leaf, big deal. But if you notice, this leaf right here, let me move the tag out of the way, came from right here. You should not be losing leaves from the middle. What this means is at some point I got water in this orchid. This orchid now has crown rot. This orchid now needs to be either thrown away or rescued. So I am going to try to save her, even though the spike, the one leaf that's going to be left when I pull all this off, is basically a terminal spike at this point. I don't know if we can save her or not, but we're going to try. But that's what I was talking about, not being normal, guys. So if you start seeing, and I saw it kind of yellowing, didn't really pay attention. I should have, and I probably could have saved her a lot sooner. So what I'm going to do, obviously the first thing I'm going to do is cut these flower spikes, but unlike normal where I would cut the flower spikes all the way down, I'm not going to cut them all the way down because there's a potential for a keiki to possibly grow on one of these spikes. So I do see she had a branch right there, so we'll just cut her right here. And I'll just add that to my little water propagation thing, not propagation, my little water where I have my cut flowers. And we'll stake her here. Because I have had keikis produced from flower spikes on my soft cloud Phalaenopsis, so it is possible. And then we will just cut her here. And see, the inside doesn't look bad, but look, it's all squishy, like the crown is bad. Because once you tear it off, if you see the black in there, that's crown rot. So like I've said in the past, you can save an orchid from crown rot. It's not ideal, but it can be done. So let me just wet my finger a little bit, and we're gonna put some, I'm gonna put a liberal amount of cinnamon around this. And then maybe take the tag and we'll pour some in to it as well, just to try to stop it from going any further. All right, so this is what we can do, and this is all I can do to try to save Sarai. She has this one leaf to give her some photosynthesizing. I will keep her in a more low light area and keep an eye on the roots, make sure they don't stay too wet so they don't desiccate, and we will see if she produces a keiki, either a basil keiki or if one of these spikes develop a keiki. I don't do keiki paste. I'm not a big proponent of that. I do use seaweed occasionally, but if she's going to make it, she's going to make it. If not, I did get her at the grocery store, so it's not like I can't replace her, but it would be nice if this one would just do its thing. All right, well, if you guys have any advice on how I can save this little girl, let me know. And then if you hold on just 1 second, I will show you the bloom spike setup that I put in some water. All right, so this is the little mason jar that I have the cut blooms in. These right here are off of the Phalaenopsis Deja No ID that I mounted onto the seagrass mount, and it promptly rejected after a week. Unpotted her, or unmounted her, put her in a pot, cut the spikes. If you look at that video, and I'll link it up above, but if you look at that video, this particular flower here was very droopy and very soft. As you can see, it has opened on up. Now, are these buds right here gonna open? Don't know, it doesn't matter. There's still enough blooms on here. And then here's our sunshine in here. And then we have the Morgan, and I have cut my Paphiopedilum off as well and just kind of stuck her in there. As you can see, she's just really going over. So, but it's a nice little display for a couple of days, maybe even a couple of weeks. So again, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. Comment down below on any tips you can leave for me or anyone else. When do you repot your Phalaenopsis? Like, do you have an ideal time when you cut your Phalaenopsis spikes so you can encourage more bloom later? Or are you one that likes to just keep the spikes on there and just see the branches as they go along? Do you cut your spikes all the way down when you cut your spikes? What are your growing habits, and what is your success rate with what you do? And of course, make sure to leave your growing environment down below as well, so that if we decide to take one of your tips, we're in a similar growing environment. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you guys on the next one.